Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into a DFS strategy video for the 2025 Butterfield Bermuda Championship. My name is Eric, and here's SweetSpotDFS. It's all about trying to target the optimal lineup, so that is what we're going to try to do this week. I'm going to keep this video pretty short and sweet. The contests on DraftKings are awful. There aren't many, and the prize pool is pretty low. So I'm going to probably cruise through a lot of the segments that I usually cover, which are, of course, course and tournament information, pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. We will review last week's Worldwide Technology Championship just to see how well the SweetSpot process did. Then we'll get in the bucket system. Then we'll get in the Marquee Tee Times. And if there are enough people online who want lineups built for them, I will build them lineups. If not, I'll give you guys a couple ideas for lineups. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the giveaways. If you didn't know this already, I don't even think I did this last week. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I do giveaways every single week. Weekly, I should say I do weekly giveaways every single week. And then obviously monthly giveaways the first Tuesday of the next month. This weekly giveaway will be done, or not weekly, I'm sorry. This monthly giveaway will be done at the RSM Classic, and I'll do it towards the end of the RSM Classic video for anyone that's there live to get more entries into that giveaway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give out a t-shirt. I'm going to give you the membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, and I'll give you a t-shirt. If you don't have one already, maybe you do, but you don't have, because I have 4 different types of t-shirts. So if you don't have all of them, you can still win one that maybe you don't have in your size. So I will do that as kind of like a Christmas gift, because I will not be streaming for the Hero World Championship. And that whole month of December, we'll just be working on the website and trying to put out a new product next year. And a new product just being, I want to revamp how this all looks, how much time it takes every single week, especially with the videos. I want this to be more streamlined. I want it to be more entertaining. So I'm going to use all of the month of December to figure all that out. So no streaming in December. You might get some videos from me. Honestly, I'm thinking about doing some one-off videos, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, giveaway, this November monthly giveaway will be done at the RSM Classic. So again, be on the lookout for that. Hopefully you got some entries in during the Worldwide Technology Championship. If not, that's all right. And then next, the other giveaway that I'm doing, I was getting ahead of myself. Next year, I think we're going to hit 1,000 subscribers. And I'm hoping to do so earlier in the year, maybe by the Masters. Once we do that, I'm giving away $1,000. Of course, it's $1,000 worth of giveaways. One is a lifetime membership to SweetSpotDFS.com. The other is an annual membership, which, I mean, I have so many good tools on that website already, and I'm still building more tools. I mean, there are ideas that flow through my head. I just don't have time to do right now, but will eventually. Once I get rid of the spreadsheeting stuff that I'm doing currently, I will have more time to work on more tools. So this website, I'm hoping to be the best website when it comes to DFS golf, or just fantasy golf in general, because I also want this to be a source of betting. So you can come in here, use all the tools that I have for your research, for all that good stuff, and then go from there. So again, if you're not a member, oh, I should say this, to get an entry into this giveaway, go create yourself an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. It's free of charge. There's no grabbing your credit card information. It is just first name, last name, email address. That's it. So sign up. There's a link in the description down below that gets you into this giveaway. That gives you an entry into this giveaway. And then the only other prerequisite for me to run this giveaway is to have this YouTube channel reach 1,000 subscribers. So just, that's it. So anyways, this is a live video. I just saw the live chat. I'll get to you guys here shortly. Good evening to everyone. So yeah, go create an account if you haven't. And then again, once I reach 1,000 subscribers, we'll do this giveaway. So anyways, With that being said, let's go ahead and do the weekly giveaway. By the way, I am without a soundboard, unfortunately. I upgraded to the newest soundboard after last week's stream. And I told myself, you know what? I will, I'll update that before I stream. Well, Tuesday happened and I totally spaced it out. So my apologies on that. I do not have a soundboard at the moment, but we do have a drum roll. So that's good. But everything else is just going to be pretty status quo. So anyways, 6 total entries. AJ was my only person last week. That was part of the roll call. But we did get some people going into the YouTube comment section. If you didn't know this, that's how you get another additional entry, is to go into the comment section. Leave a comment, any comment. If you read the description of this video, there are instructions to leave a particular type of comment that will get you 2 entries. So Joanne and Nathan did that for the Worldwide Technology Championship. They got 2 entries each, and I'm going to run this right now. Joanne is the winner. Joanne, congrats. $5 is yours. I imagine we're just going to bank it for a sweatshirt somewhere in the future or a hat. That's right. I got to do hats. I do need to do hats. So Joanne she gets $5. And really, so it's just 6 total entries that go into the end of the month giveaway. So that's right there. If you have not yet gotten an entry into the giveaway, be here during the roll calls. It's usually at the 1 hour mark. If you can't do that, come back to the channel after this goes. Once it goes from, or when the live stream ends, it will go back onto YouTube as a playback video. Go watch that, or not so much. If you're here during the live video, you don't have to go watch that, but go back into it and put a comment on it. So therefore, you help me and I help you. I'll get you an additional entry. Okay. So like I said, this is a live stream, so I am going to talk to the audience now. AJ, congrats. AJ says DraftKings sucks. I can't believe it. Do I burn $25? Hey, how did your lineups do last week? I was looking at the optimizer after, or I shouldn't say after. I was just looking at the optimizer right before coming onto this stream, and I saw all the Ben Griffin lineups. I'm pretty sure we built lineups for you with Ben Griffin in them, right? Had Ben Griffin and Garrett Higo. So I know those lineups had to have done decent. Maybe you didn't get all 6 of 6 through the cut, but you should have been able to do that, right? Joanne wins quite often. No, she doesn't. Joanne would tell you she went this whole summer and fall pretty much without getting a win. But she did win last year quite a bit. She had a couple good ones there. She had a couple monthly giveaway winners. I think she got like 3 t-shirts worth of giveaways. So anyways, Dumb and Dumber, that my screen name changed for some reason. Do you have kids? Maybe your kids changed it. But hello to you. Hello to Joanne. Hello to AJ. Like I said, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I'll still build lineups at the end. So if you want to go check those out, or if you want to be here, we'll get there pretty quick. But I'm not going to spend much time. And the first segment we're going to talk about is the golf course and tournament information. So if you didn't already know, this is SweetSpotDFS.com. This is the golf course stats page. So you can take a look at the golf course stats on here. Just make sure you have the Bermuda Championship selected, or at least put the Bermuda Championship in there, and choose the Port Royal golf course. If there's already a tournament loaded in there, it's going to show that golf course. But once you type this in, you'll have an option to choose between the two. It might be confusing. I have it already. I had saved. So the only way that you will come across that is if you already were in there and you haven't reloaded the page, if you haven't refreshed the page. So the only way that scenario will happen. But anyways, these are the golf course stats. Basically, you have your little summary box at the top right, shows you the golf course, the yardage, all that good stuff. This is meant for you. I should say, these are data points for you to use as filters on this website, or whatever website you want to do your research on. If you didn't already know this, so if we look here, it is Bermuda grass all the way through. It looks like there's might be some zoysia in the rough, but we don't really care about that. It is Bermuda through and through. So there are different pages that I have. If we go to the strokes gain page under Fantasy Tools, strokes gain stats, and you take a look here, on the left, you have all these filter panes. If you look down here by grass filters, that is where you can filter by grass. So we have tee grass, rough grass, fairway grass, greens grass. So obviously I said Bermuda. We're Bermuda all the way through. So you can select different filters, however you want to do this. It's up to you. You guys can do whatever you want. So you put in the grass stat filters, and then I'd recommend the date. So I have this going all the way back to 2023 or 2013, I should say. Go back to maybe 2024. And then once you do that, you're looking at the last 2 years. There are different ways you can go about that. You can just select 2025, 2024 here. That's an easier way to do it. But if you want to be specific with your dates, you could certainly do that. And you can see the rounds change, the off the tee stats change, the approach changes around the green. Personally, if I'm going to use the Bermuda filters, I'm just going to look at strokes gained total. You guys can get cute however you want. You can use putting, because obviously putting would be a big one to look at when we're just looking at grass or turf grass. So you can go ahead and take a look. So obviously if I'm looking at the last 2 years on just straight Bermuda grass in this field, Beau Hossler's #1 when it comes to strokes gained total, largely to do with his short game. Not much off the tee or approach, which if you didn't already know, this golf course is short. That's kind of what you saw with the golf course stats page, 6,800 yards. That's a very short golf course on the PGA Tour. Very short. One thing to note, wind will be a factor this week. I think 3 out of the 4 days is supposed to have like 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, maybe even a little more. So that would make things a bit tricky. Take a look at your weather forecast Wednesday night. Look at the golfers, that might be in the waves where the wind is blowing the most, and maybe, if you want to play contrarian, play those golfers. If you want to be safe with it, maybe you fade those golfers. It's entirely up to you. I think the better golfers always prevail in the wind. I did hear something interesting from Keith Stewart this week about apex or just so much low ball hitters. A lot of times I don't care about that, because what you're going to find out, golfers who hit the ball very far, and this is a matter of physics, okay? This is the only way this can occur. If a golfer hits the ball very far, that means their ball is in the air longer than anyone else, just based off of straight physics. Now, could they hit a laser beam that rolls hundreds of yards? They certainly can. They certainly can, but not every golf course provides that type of distance on the ground, just rolling. So most of the time it's carry distance. And so when you look at some of the deep ball hitters, their ball's in the air longer. Most of the time their apex is higher, because that's where you get most of your distance. If your apex is not high and you hit the ball far, that means you're putting a lot of backspin on it, because backspin keeps the ball in the air. If that's the case, you get affected by the wind more so. So like a lot of times when you're looking at apex, here's one thing to take into account with that. How far do they hit the ball? Literally, if you're seeing the best apex golfers on tour, look at their average swing speed, their average ball speed, and compare it to other golfers in the field. If it is lower, and by the way, it's not going to be that much lower, but it'll be lower most of the time. If it's going to be lower, they're just short ball hitters, and that means their apex isn't that high. Now, when you get a golfer who does hit the ball pretty far, and you put him on a golf course that requires him to flight the ball down, they're capable of doing that. Now, sometimes these golfers are just not good golfers. But if you were to put Rory McIlroy into the wind, he's a really good wind ball hitter. And it isn't because he's launching the ball way up in the air into the wind and piercing through the wind. He is manipulating. He's manufacturing his type of golf shot that he needs to hit for a particular hole. Into the wind, wind off the left, wind off the right. Skilled players know how to do that. This field sucks. There are very few skilled players in the field. So take all of this into account, or take none of it into account. Like, the world's your oyster. You guys can choose to do with the information as you will, but I think things get oversimplified when people just look at apex height. So that's the only thing that I am trying to provide you guys, is a different perspective than what everybody else is saying. Apex height typically goes with, like, the lower the apex, the shorter the guy hits the ball. There are very few golfers out there that hit the ball really low and smack the ball. Like Cam Champ, it might be one of them, off the top of my head, who hits a pretty low golf ball for hitting as far as he does. So just be cognizant of that. Do not worry about apex height if a, or I should say, don't worry, don't be fooled. Look at driving distance, look at apex height, do the, you know, cross examination, and try to figure out, you know, is your guy just a low ball hitter, or is your guy just a weak hitter, doesn't hit the ball very far, and that's why his apex isn't super high? Or is he just, does he launch the ball and hit it low? To me, those are the golfers that I kind of like this week, are the guys that still can launch, like, good off the tee stats with apex height. And in fact, how about this? Let's do this really quick. I am curious to do it. This is, I typically don't do this, but let's take a look at the PGA Tour. Let's look at stats. And I believe we can go off the tee. Maybe it's just different. I'm going to go apex. Ooh, distance to apex? That's an actual thing? I like that. We'll take a look at the stat together. But we're going to look at apex height first. Frankie Sappin is there. So he hits the ball pretty high. Is that what we're saying? Average 130. Yeah, high. He hits the ball pretty high. Ooh, let's go with distance. Okay. Carry distance would be a great. I just want distance. Carry distance is fine. Club head speed would be a good one to look at. Sure, let's do club head speed. All right, so we're going to look at these two stats together. Apex, Frankie Sappin is in the field this week, so he hits 131 yards. There's his mug shot right there. I'm going to look him up. Frankie Sappin. Yeah, so he hits the ball far. 121 mile per hour. This is his club head speed. He's going to be one of the top people in the field, because if you look at all the other golfers that might be here, Xander's not here, Cameron Young's not here, Rory's not here, Wyndham Clark's not here. I couldn't see. I'm not sure if Clanton is here. Jake Knapp is not here. Nikolai Højgaard is not here. Rasmus is not. Like, a lot of these golfers aren't here. Nicholas Norgard Moller, I think, is here. But if we look at Nicholas Norgard Moller and we kind of look at the apex height here as well, so Norgard, he hits the ball pretty low. Wow. Okay, tour average. I kind of like that. He hits the ball low and he smacks it. So Nicholas Norgard would be a guy that, just based off of apex, I'd be interested in playing. Distance is everything in golf. And although this is a short golf course and people will probably be playing positional shots, I care about distance because your approach shot is affected, to me, more so based off of how far you hit the ball. If I have 160 yards and you have 160 yards, I can sometimes hit pitching wedge 160 yards. I bet you hit 7, maybe even a 6 iron. I have a big advantage over you. I can hit the ball higher. I know we're into the wind, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. But also, I can just 3/4 shot another club where you're going to have to hit a full shot in. And my room for error is so much smaller than yours, or so much larger than yours, that I still have an advantage over you. So to me, that's what I'm looking for. So Nicholas Norgard, actually, is he in the field? I don't even remember. I don't think he is. He is $7,300. Okay, we just found a golfer that maybe is worth the play. But I want to find a short ball hitter that has a low apex. Oh, there's Rico Hoey, by the way. He is a lowish ball hitter. Actually, I'm going to find someone. Yeah, let's find Rico Hoey. Where is he? Does he smack the ball off the tee? 30 seconds. So he is another good choice this week. He's your top price guy in the field. Okay, swing speed. Let me go down here. I just want to prove a point here. Who do we have? Who do I recognize that's in the field? Ben Coles, maybe? He's 124th. Ooh, Paul Peterson. Okay. I think, yeah, Paul Peterson is in the field for sure. So Paul Peterson. Let's see what his apex is. He's 109th. So he's below average, barely. But this is kind of my point. Short ball hitters hit the ball low because they just, you need, if you hit the ball far, you're gonna put more backspin on the ball, just period. Otherwise, you're manipulating the ball flight. There is an equal, what is it called? Can't think of the terminology, but there is this threshold where if you hit the ball far, you want enough backspin on it to keep control on the golf ball. That's kind of what Bryson was trying to figure out when he was going really long ball hitter. He wasn't having he had a very low lofted driver, but what would end up happening is there's too much side spin, not enough backspin, and that's where the ball goes offline. So you do want more backspin on the ball to keep the ball straighter when you launch the ball further. Everyone's trying to hit the same revolutions though, or very similar to. So there's obviously that, but my point still remains the same. Golfers who hit the ball short usually have low apexes. So Hoagie, I'm going to use Tom Hoagie as another golfer here. Tom Hoagie, he's 122nd with apex. Or yeah, the apex. I bet you anything he's low on the totem pole when it comes to distance. Yeah. Or club head speed, 114.41. He is 132nd when it comes to total distance or club head speed, and then his apex is low as well. It goes one and the same. Anyways, I'm not going to spend more time on that. Go do your research, do it that way. PGAtour.com, that's where I'm looking at. PGAtour.com. All right, let's get back to the golf course. I said I was going to go quick, and then I just go into that little side mission. Okay. This page, like I said, provides you data points to research, to use as you see fit with the filters that I have on the site. That's what I was kind of showcasing with the Strokes Gained stats. We did apply Bermuda stats and Zoysia. Bermuda, Zoysia. Not in the fairway, though. I should not have collected or put that there. And like I said, I would sort it by strokes gained total. That's your all-around game. That comes with finishing placements, average finishing placements. You can see your best golfers this way. Luke Clanton's up there, believe it or not. Stephen Fisk just got a win at the Sanderson Farms Championship on Bermuda, so his stats are kind of skewed that way. This would actually be a great time to get back on Stephen Fisk. Bo Hosler is actually kind of an interesting play. Patrick Rogers, another good play. So, and Nico Echeverria, he's the guy on the thumbnail for a reason. He's probably my favorite player this week, and he is good on Bermuda. So again, you can use, anytime you see this filter pane over here with the different icons, you can use these filters however you see fit. There's a little eraser marker here that clears all the filters, and you can take a look, or you can apply the data points into your filters. And that's where that's what the whole golf course stats page is all about. Find your data points. We have shot shapes here. Like, do shot shapes really matter? Well, it almost favors guys who hit the ball right to left. I see that more so when it comes to approach. And again, this isn't necessary. It's just one of those things that I think offer better scoring opportunities if a golfer hits that particular shot shape. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I do have a cheat sheet available for you guys to go look. Under Fantasy Tools, go to cheat sheet, click on that. Another page will open up, or a page will open up. And there are two cheat sheets. You've got this one here, which is pretty generic, just gives you, recent form and course history basically for each of the golfers in the field. Or if you scroll down, you can click here and a Google Sheet will open up. And if you want to follow along with me throughout this entire video, you can do so here. Now here I have shot shapes for some of the golfers, not all. I know it's been a long time since I introduced this. I updated so many golfers in the beginning and I just have not come back to it to provide their shot shapes, but you can find some of them there. You can also find Bermuda stats right here, although it says bent. We can change that real easy. These are their Bermuda stats. So you can see how many events they've been in, their overall average finishing position, their top 10 Bermuda success percentage, and their last year Bermuda stats, which is just going back the last 365 days, looking at their average finishing position. There aren't a lot of super great golfers in the field when it comes to Bermuda, so do with all of this however you want. But that is the golf course section. Again, go to SweetSpotDFS.com, golf course stat pages. I don't really like to spend much time on golf course breakdowns because if you don't have a payoff, there's no reason to go over golf course breakdowns. And who the hell cares about Port Royal Golf Course? It's going to be windy and it's Bermuda. It's usually the only things you got to care about. There's course history on the cheat sheet. There's all the different types of tools that you can use on SweetSpotDFS.com to take a look to see which golfers are best at this Port Royal Golf Course. Let me double check something really quick. I believe if you go to course stats filter, you can choose the golf course right here. So Port Royal Golf Course, you just select that, X out, and you can see who has the best strokes gained total. Justin Lauer. Lauer's up there, Ryan Palmer's up there, Rafael Campos won the event last year. Vince Whaley. Vince Whaley is going to be popular, and rightfully so. So you can do this. There, again, SweetSpotDFS.com, all the filters that you have over there, you can use, and you can find all your data points right here at the golf course stats page. These are great data points to use. You can use the yardage, the par, everything you see on this page, you can use as a filter. Everything you can see, you can use as a filter. Okay, that's the golf course. Just to quickly go over the tournament. The only thing I really like to provide with the tournament is just what the strength of field is. It's 82. 82. You can use that as a filter, by the way, or a data point as a filter. 82 is terrible. 82 is like your alternate field event. That's what 82 is. But last year it was even worse. Last year was 60, 65. The year before that was 38. Nope, 60 and then 38. I saw a 38 somewhere. 34. Okay, I was wrong. My numbers were wrong. So it is the strongest field that we've had for the Bermuda Championship in the last 3 years, 4 years, because this is 2022. And if you just take a look at some of these winners, Lucas Herbert, $7,700. Or let's take a look at the top 5 and their price points. Lucas Herbert at $7,700, Danny Lee at $67, Patrick Reed at $10,400, Patrick Rogers at $9,000, and Taylor Pendrith at $9,100. In 2023, Seamus Power, $10,200, Thomas Dietrich, $10,500, Ben Griffin, $7,200, Patrick Rogers, $9,700, Kevin Yu, $7,300. Go to 2024. We had Camilo Villegas, $7,100. Alex Noren, $9,600. Matty Schmid, $77,000. Carl Yuan, $73,000. Adam Scott, $10,700. Ryan Moore, $74,000. And last year, you had, and if I use the years at the bottom, my apologies. I meant seasons. Those are the seasons. They're not the years. Just -1 from the year. That's what you get. Last year, you had Campos at $6,600. Novak at $88,000. Mark Hubbard at $84,000. Adrian Dumont Deschessar at $6,500. Justin Lauer at $93,000. Sam Ryder at $72,000. Vince Whaley at $7,700. So there is a big mix of golfers that you've already seen, of 10K golfers, 9K golfer, 8K golfers, and then a couple 6Ks in there. You don't see a lot of 6Ks inside the top 5. Last year you had Campos winning it, but if I keep going back, like I just went through this, we didn't see a lot of 6Ks. I think before we get into the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineup segment, one thing to note is I believe it might be worth it to stay away from the 6K range, or at the very least, only play one golfer from the 6K range. You could play 2 if you want. I'm staying away from 3. I'm not doing stars and scrubs. I'm going pretty balanced. And then just kind of sticking with that. 120 golfers in the field, top 65 in ties. Top 65 in ties, that's just your prototypical cut. 120 people though. And every week for the last 3 weeks, I should say, well, not every week, but the last 2 events, they have had to suspend due to darkness, which is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. This week, I bet it's going to happen again because the winds are going to be so high, it's going to slow down play. And so we're probably still going to get suspension due to darkness. I don't know. It's silly. All right, that's your golf course and tournament information. We are at 31 minutes, so that was, yeah. Okay, so the whole quick video thing, not much of a thing. Trey, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. AJ says hi. How's it going, AJ? Oh, you said hi to Trey. My favorite golfers this week: Lauer, Whaley, and Hoey. Yeah, don't have an issue there. Also like Rogers, Ramey, and Olesen. Chad Ramey showed up in my optimizer a few times last week when I was building lineups, and I was just like, no, I don't care. It's another week where my optimizer knows more than I do when it comes to picking lineups, because Ramey finished second. We'll see what the optimizer does this week. I think I'm not gonna, fight it this time. All right, moving on. Let's go to Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. I'm trying to find my mouse button. I can't even find it. Found it. I don't even know where it went. Anyways, so Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. Historic salary builds. This is a tool you can find on SweetSpotDFS.com, and also Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. So what I like to do with these tools, first get an overall sense as to what type of lineups I want to build. And I think when I was just mentioning this with the golf course stats segment, using the filters over here to the side. Under the tournament stats filter, I kind of want to use field size between actually, you know what? I don't even need to do field size, because what I really care about is the strength of field. I'm going to use the strength of field down here, and I'm going to go like less. It's going to be 4 to 120. I'm going to have it set right here. I use the old one. This should just be renamed as the old strength of field is how OWGR used to do it. The new strength of field is their new way of doing it. But if I did this and I just take a look at the overall amount of lineups, and actually I'm gonna put one more filter on this. I can use this, no doubt about it. I can use this. Personally, as much as I love chasing the optimal lineup, I'm not leaving a lot of money on the table. That's just not something I care to do. So what I'll end up doing is I'll hit the crosshairs up here, and really I want to look at 50,000, 49.9, 49.8, 49.7, 49.6, and actually I'm going to go to 49.5 and 49.4. I'll leave a little, yeah, sure. I'll just do this just for the sake of it. And basically what I'm doing is I'm trimming all of these lineups, like the optimal lineups that leave thousands of dollars on the table. That's too difficult to do. I'll create a video and show you how difficult it is to target a lineup that keeps thousands of dollars on the table. You open yourself up to way many, like so many more different lineup combinations. I think that's silly. That's way harder than what you need to do, need to make it. So I'm just gonna leave up to $600 on the table. That's the filter. Again, hit the crosshairs. You can scroll down here. I do the quick selection. You don't have to do the quick selection. What you could do, let's see, where's the eraser button? Was that it? I can't select it. Okay. I'll deselect all of these. And you could just use this right up here, 49.6. And that also will limit your lineups. So when we do that, when you leave not as much money on the table and the strength of field is less than 120, which it is this week, our most common lineup build is a 10-9-8-7-7-6, which is the jingle on the channel. Start your lineups with a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, an 8K, 2 7s, and a 6, and then make some substitutions from there. Because the second most common lineup build is a 10-9-8-7-7-7. So we're only replacing one 6K with another 7, and those two lineups make up 30% of all lineups that have had the similar strength of field. Then it's a 10-10, 3 7s and a 6, 10-8-8, 7-7-6. That's replacing a 9 with another 8, 10-8 and 4 7s, 10-8-8 with 3 7s, 10-9-8, 7-6-6. So like I said, start with a 10-9-8, 7-7-6 and make a couple substitutions. You don't have to get crazy with it. But yeah, that actually works out. Now, if you wanted to see how many lineups start with a 9K golfer, use this golfer 1 filter down here and just choose 9K. What I would also add to that is take into account how many lineups under this current filter there are, 77. And then when I take a look at just lineups that start with a 9K, it filters down to 12. Rough math, 12 out of 77. That's close to, was it 14%? Something like that. I think. Am I wrong with that? I'm wrong with that. 12 times 7 is 84. We're close. I mean, it's going to be somewhere between 14 and 18%, I think. Right? I'm just curious. I want to see what this is. 12, I should say. So 12 divided by 77. Oh boy. Whoa, 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 whoa. 15%. Yeah, like I said. So 15% of your lineup start with a 9K golfer with the filters of the strength of field that we have on there. That's not a high percentage. Not a high percentage. But I feel like this week, the 9K, I think it's going to be smarter to start with a 9K golfer. Could be wrong on that. Could be wrong. But I think that's probably the best way to go about it. After doing kind of the Apex type of research that we just did, Rico Hoey is also not a bad choice. And I believe we have Kevin Yu up there. I think those two golfers are fine choices. Kevin Yu has pretty decent course history at this event. I have no idea where he is on the Apex. I think we were just looking at it and I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm not going to be afraid to go with these 10K golfers. If I look at 100% of my lineups, I'd say maybe 50% of them will have a 10K golfer in them. And I'm not building that many lineups this week. I'm probably building 40 lineups. So yeah, 20 of them will start with a 10K. The other 20 will be with a 9K. I won't start a lineup with an 8K ever. I just to show you what that looks like, why I would never start with an 8K. If I take all lineups, 1079, and we start golfer 1 with an 8K golfer. First of all, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. A lot of money on the table. So let's go ahead and put a filter on this. And I'm actually going to be kind of what's the word, liberal, I guess, when it comes to this. How about we go 49-2 and above? 49-2. 3 total lineups. 3 total lineups, and you can see what they are: 50,000, 50,000, 49.8. So I actually could go 49.6 and above, and you were getting 3 total lineups. 3 that start with an 8K golfer. 3 Worldwide Technology Championship in 2023. The GPP winner went 8K, 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 7K, 7K. Otherwise, it's the Memorial Tournament and the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which are both signature events. You're most likely never going to win a GPP starting with an 8K golfer, although we did have one this year, 2025. So anyways, 3 lineups out of 1,079. That means 1,076 lineups did not start with an 8K golfer. Well, I shouldn't say that way. Here, let's do the actual filter. I know some nerds in the chat are gonna be like, wait a minute, no, you went 49-2, so we gotta put that filter on there. So 852 lineups. Out of 852, only 3 start with an 8K golfer, okay? Still, 852, 3. Don't start with an 8K golfer. That's stupid. Don't do that. I mean, sure, maybe a cat. No, I wouldn't even do it with a cash game. Don't do it with a cash game. I think that's stupid. Okay, so that's how I like to use the historic salary builds. It didn't really change my mind any more than more so than what I would have already had it as. Because you all know I like to start with a 10K golfer, a 9K, and an 8K and go from there. But I am mulling the idea of doing 2 9s or maybe even 3 9s. We'll see. Because the 9K range is pretty decent. And just to take a look, you got Nico, who I like a lot. Pearson Cootie, I'm not like, I'll play Pearson Cootie, no problem. Patrick Rogers, sure. I love Marty Schmid. Michael Brennan, I think, is a great play. Jesper Svensson, he was a low ball hitter that hit the ball pretty far. Matt Wallace, don't really care about, but I do like Vince Whaley quite a bit. Like, I like a lot of 9K golfers. What did I say? 4 of them? Nico, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like 6. 6 of the 8 9K golfers, and I don't mind Jesper Svensson. Vince Whaley, by the way, #1 in the sweet spot model, #1. So, all right, that is your. I guess quickly, I didn't cover this tool. What I like to use with this tool, and in fact, we can. This will be a good segue into a review. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. I know the little thing came through, but we'll put this here. Yeah, we'll get into the review, but also showing you how to use the pass optimal and GPP winners. So for the Worldwide Technology Championship, which was last week, what I like to do is go ahead and put that into the tournament section. I'm only going to look at this last year, 2025. Because you know what? I'm gonna swing back to this. I actually have a different way to go about this. So don't mind me. I don't have this prepared, so I'm gonna throw this over onto this screen. Okay. We're gonna review the Worldwide Technology Championship. And we're gonna start here at the buckets. The buckets are everything. Last week, if you followed the projections, again, this is available to you on the cheat sheet if you didn't already know. What is up here? There is something on the top of my brow or my monitor that I have no idea what's going on up there. Okay, it went away. Anyways, you can follow along with me on the cheat sheet. The bucket system is here. The projections are right here. Column G, column H. You can follow along with me. But last week, and oh, by the way, one other thing really quickly. All of those projections are also in the optimizer. I have them all laid out right here. And this is what we followed last week when we built lineups. If you requested the optimizer, you could have also seen the same bucket criterias, and you can request the optimizer by going to Fantasy Tools, scrolling down to Optimizer, waiting for the page to load. A pop-up is going to appear that asks you to put your email address in and then request now. That sends an email to me saying you want to use the optimizer. I then send it to you. So you guys can request that by, again, going to Fantasy Tools, Optimizer. You do not need to be a member on the site in order to request that. So that is available to you. But anyways, again, going back. Projections. This little box here, this year's totals, show us if the projections were correct. It's all that the Y's and the N's are in this column here for success. Now, there's a bit of a caveat here. I don't have it coded to look at the proper range. If you didn't already know this, you're going to find out now. I always have a 2-point buffer, 2-point buffer between the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum projection for this bucket was 0.57. The maximum was 0.94. Well, if there's a 2-point buffer between the minimum and the maximum, that means that projection's 0 to 2. 0 to 2. For this week's total top 10, there were 2 golfers from that bucket that finished inside the top 10. 2 golfers in that bucket were in the optimal lineup. 2 golfers in that bucket were in the sweet spot optimal, meaning this bucket was actually successful. So my checks and balances does not equate for the 2-point buffer. If I scroll down here and we take a look at this bucket, the 8K range, last week I did not have it as 1 to 3. I had 0 to 3. And that's mostly because I know how this operates. Now, there was one golfer in the sweet spot optimal, which we will compare against the GPP to see if it would have beat the GPP. So there was one golfer there. And if the sweet spot optimal does beat the GPP winning lineup, then I would say this bucket would be a success instead of a no. The bucket below that, also kind of the same thing. The projection was 1 to 3. We had 4 golfers in the optimal lineup for the 7K bucket, by the way, 7K bucket. I really don't look at salary buckets all that frequently when it comes to successes. But those were the 3 that were in question. Now, when we go to this page right here, the optimal lineup left $1,500 on the table. And just so you know, if we go back to here and let's clear all the filters. And we scroll up. Worldwide Technology Championship. Look at that. Optimal lineup, 48,500, left $1,500 on the table. So you can find it right here on the website. But using the spreadsheets, 48.5, it scored 853.5 points. The GPP winning lineup scored 798. It was a fantastic lineup. 798, left $100 on the table. Their worst golfer was Tom Hoagie, who finished 21st place. They had damn near all 6 golfers inside the top 20. They almost had 4 golfers inside the top 10, but we could say 4 golfers inside the top 11, 5 golfers inside the top 15. The lineup was solid. So that's a hard lineup to beat. 798 was the GPP winning lineup. Optimal was 853.5. If you follow the sweet spot rules, I don't even have the totals in there. But I could do this. I can look at what is green. Just copy over or select. It scored 815.5 points. 815.5. So that takes down the GPP winning lineup, meaning all those other buckets then are successful. That's kind of how I look at it, because we're aiming for the optimal lineup, but we're trying to hit the GPP winner, right? That's the whole goal. Aim small, miss small. But still, the big target is the GPP. The thousands of dollars you can win. Okay. I'm gonna go back to here, and here's the one thing I love about this tool. So if you take advantage of this box down here, I'm scrolling through you so you can see it kind of like the highlights going up and down. You can hold down the control button on your keyboard and left click. And this will select more than one record at a time. So what you can do actually is, if I scroll up and put this right above my head, you see the total salary right there and the total points right there. That gets adjusted based off of your selections. So this is a good way if you want to check to see what other lineups you could have built to see whether or not they were viable to take down a GPP winning lineup. So one thing I do, again, put in the tournament, Worldwide Technology Championship, 2025 GPP winner. And this will show you what the GPP winning lineup was. It was Ben Griffin, Garrett Kigo, Thorbjorn Olesen, Chad Ramey, Jackson Suber, and Tom Hoagie. Like I said, Tom Hoagie. He had 5 guys inside the top 15, almost all golfers inside the top 20. It scored 798 points. I know you guys can't really see it on the screen especially if you're watching from a phone, but total points right up there shows 798, total salary 49,900. Now, if I deselect GPP winner, and I'm going to sort by DK points top to bottom, I can again hold down control, left click. So Ben Griffin is the only golfer I've selected. Then I'm going to go Garrick Higgo. And really, can I just do the top 4 golfers? I mean, that is your optimal lineup. Okay. If I deselect one, I see I have $9,000 that I can work with. I can go to Nico Echeverria. And so for $49,500, that lineup would have scored 842.5. So if you had certain golfers that you had starred last week, you can come into this tool and kind of recreate your lineup, but maybe substitute 2 of your worst golfers with 2 golfers at the top and just see, could you have gotten to those golfers? Could you have replaced those golfers? Were they certain people you were thinking about playing and you just didn't have the guts to do it? Like say Nick Dunlap down here at $6,400. Nico Echeverria was my favorite guy. So I would have played with Nico and Ben Griffin. Those were my 2 like lock plays. Those were my anchor plays, were those 2 golfers. And I also liked Matty Schmid. I think so I have a members only video Wednesday night that I built a lineup that my last lineup I built. I'm like, these are my 3 favorite golfers. They're the ones I want to play. So now where did I go wrong? Like if I have 3 guys that are inside the top 14, yours truly did not take it down to GPP. Yours truly did not win his money back last week. Where did I go wrong? And it's probably to do with the 9K golfer. Because if I would have went with Garrick Higgo with these, like that core of 4, it shows that I have $14,200 remaining. Or at least it doesn't show that, but I can do simple math. I could easily, I mean, like I said, Chad Ramey showed up in the optimizer and I chose not to play him. We could go Chad Ramey pretty darn easy. And I bet you anything, we could probably go Sami Välimäki or Carson Young. And that's $50,000 using of the salary. Scores 830.5 points. I would have taken down a GPP this way. So you guys can come in here and do that again. Hold down control and then left click. And that's how you can build a lineup and check to see the total salary, keep it under the salary cap of $50,000, and then just check out the total points. Could you have taken down a GPP? So anyways, this is a tool you can use, and this is what I was getting to at the beginning of the segment, but that's going to cover the review. SweetSpot process was great. Oh, Marquee Tee Times. I forgot to mention that. So let's take a look at the Marquee Tee Times. This is one thing that we're going to go over pretty soon with the Bermuda Championship. Every 3 golfers, like top to bottom, this is sorted by group rank from top to bottom. The best group down to the worst group, but the top 9 groups are the Marquee Tee Times. The rule with the Marquee Tee Times is you want to select 2 to 4 groups of the 9. Like I said, there are 9 groups. You want to select 2 to 4 groups, and you only want to select 1 golfer from any of those groups. So 2 to 4 groups and 1 golfer from it, because very infrequently do you find 2 golfers from a group in the optimal lineup. And very infrequently do you find 2 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in a GPP winning lineup. So why am I going to pair up 2 golfers from the same group? Like the odds are against us. Let's just not do that. But what you can see right here with the Worldwide Technology Championship, Ben Griffin was in the optimal, the GPP, and the sweet spot. So all 3 of the lineups that I keep track of. Thorbjorn Olesen is in the GPP winning lineup. Garrick Higgo is also in the GPP winning lineup, but he's also in the optimal and the sweet spot. So those 3 also. So in the GPP winning lineup, you have 3 golfers. 3 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in there, and they didn't play together. Not the first 2 days, at least. They did not play together. Furthermore, you have the little black tick marks here are optimal lineups. Ben Griffin, Carson Young, Garrett Kigo. 3 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times not playing together in the optimal lineup. Now, the Sweet Spot Optimal, on the other hand, only had 2 guys, and that was Garrett Kigo as well as Ben Griffin. But hey, like I said, you could build different lineups. So those were 2 guys that I obviously liked. Who was the other guys? Nico's up here, isn't he? There's Nico. There's my guy Nico. So I could have selected those 3 golfers right there, although that wasn't in this Sweet Spot Optimal. Now there's a different Sweet Spot Optimal on the spreadsheet, and then there's a different Sweet Spot Optimal on the website. Sweet Spot Optimal on the website is just your best lineup that uses $49,600 of salary and above. The Sweet Spot Optimal on the spreadsheet follows all the rules. But this also follows the rules, and I don't know why Nico could not be selected. Anyways, he is on the website. If I go and I take a look, as optimal GP2 lineups 2025, worldwide technology, Sweet Spot Optimal, the SS Optimal. You can see it was Ben Griffin, Higo, Echeverria, Schmid, Ramey, and Valimaki. So the one that I actually selected was, okay, I did not know that. But anyways, there you go. So Sweet Spot process last week was 100% hit. We could have taken down a GPP pretty easily. Obviously, I did not. I don't know anybody else in the community that did. AJ, did you do well? I don't remember. Like I said, I looked at your lineups and it looked good. Lombardi Lee, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. You're sorry you weren't here last week. It's all good, dude. All good. Okay. I'm going to move on to the bucket system for the worldwide, or for the Bermuda Championship. All right. The new page. It's a new look for the bucket system. I've been showcasing this for the last few tournaments that I've had. This is on the website, SweetSpotDFS.com, under Fantasy Tools, the bucket system. This has 3 different tools in one. You get the overall summary, which is very similar to the cheat sheet bucket system, which you can find right here. If I were to zoom in, this is the cheat sheet. You can see the exact same thing. The one thing I don't have yet on the website are projections. That will be coming sometime soon. I have to figure out a way to do that. They're just not here yet. Not here yet. So using this page, again, you can look at the overall summary. There are 3 tools in one. Here's the first one, the overall summary. We scroll down and now we can go a layer deeper. So if you're looking at golfer, or if you're looking at the summary and you've pinpointed one of these buckets, just happens to be more important than any of the other buckets. Let's just say, I mean, it kind of looks like golfers who did not play. Yeah, it kind of looks that way. Golfers who did not play last year or last week. Let's do that one. The golfers who did not play last week. Just highlighting this, you can see for top 10 stats, the minimum amount of time a golfer from this bucket finished inside the top 10 every single year is 2. That means at least 2 golfers every single year from this bucket have finished inside the top 10. Optimal lineup isn't that way, but you can see there's an 83.33% frequency rate. I imagine that's 6 years. Out of 6 years, 5 times did we see a golfer from this bucket finish inside the optimal lineup. And that would probably be because some Bermudas did not have any tournaments the week before, and that's probably what boosts its stats a little bit, but this is a bucket to still look at. Top 5 stats, 100% has had a golfer from this bucket inside the top 5. So it's definitely something to consider. So here's how you can marry everything together. So I'm looking at the last week 6 bucket. If I scroll down here, because I drilled down on the last week 6 bucket and I scroll down to here, you are only going to find golfers with the last week's 6 bucket that have ever played in this event, ever. Because I didn't put any year filters on this. If you look at this, and oh, by the way, you do need to put in the tournament right here. This always has to look at a particular tournament. So if you have the Bermuda Championship selected, and you scroll down after selecting 1 bucket, just to pinpoint. So we're just pinpointing the last week's 6 bucket. If I scroll down, again, you're only going to see golfers that are last week's 6s. There are buttons down here to choose your view. If I just go to bucket IDs, you can see under the last week's 6 bucket is nothing but 6s for each of these golfers. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about this tool. Again, these 3-in-1 tool. So bucket IDs, if I just want to look at the raw stats, you can see what their raw stats were for that bucket. Obviously, last week's 6 means did not play. So you can see that, but you can marry it up with other stats. And if you see a commonality, maybe that's a golfer from this week that you want to pinpoint. Because these are, the bucket system is just looking at lead-in stats, comparing all the lead-in stats for every single year, and actually looking at stats that matter heading into the event. And then comparing that to this week's tournament. So there is kind of a little piecing that we have to do. Just because I don't have yet a way to put the bucket system summary, I guess, for this week, like for the field for this week. I can only look at historical stuff right now. But we can take a look right here as to who those golfers are. And you have all these different filters right here. You can look at a specific golfer, you can look at a particular year, select a specific bucket to go with, you know, what we selected up here. We obviously selected the last week's 6s. So again, we're going a layer deeper. Any filter that you apply up here will trickle down, but the filters that are below won't trickle up. Just throwing that out there, just so you guys know. So if I wanted to look at finishing positions, if we wanted to be, you know, generous and just look at top 20s instead of top 10s, now you can see all the golfers that finished inside the top 20. You can look at their salary information. You can see their finishing place, their DK points, what their finishing place was the year before, their last week's stats, their course history, their recent form, and then just a strokes gained bucket, because that's a whole different thing. I can't put all of those stats on this one page. And then if you want to look at just the strokes gained stats, so again, you can look at the golfers. They don't change. The golfers stay the same despite the different tables that are showing up. The golfers stay the same. All the filters stay the same. So you can cycle through the stats and look at whatever you need to look at. So again, you can marry stats together. So let's just pick something out of the blue, okay? I didn't really have a chance to look at this. I'm going to look at raw stats. And the one thing that I notice more so than not, a lot of our top 10s, if I just go ahead and put top 10 in instead of top 20, looking at top 10s, what I'm noticing, and it looks like this is every year, for golfers who did not play the week before, there are a lot that did not play the year before that are at the top of the leaderboard. So one way to look at this is to go to the cheat sheet. The new cheat sheet, by the way, not the old cheat sheet. And you can do the old cheat sheet, that's fine. And basically try to pinpoint who did not golf last week and who did not golf last year. So last year, obviously under the last year bucket. Last week is under the -1 week. That means 1 week ago. -1 week from today. Now, if we scroll down, the first golfer we get to is Sahith Theegala. Sahith did not play last year. He did not play last week. That's one golfer. Just one golfer. We keep scrolling down. What do we see? Don't really see many. A lot of guys played last week. We also have the Samuel Anderson, which I don't really care. Justin Hastings, interesting name. Blades Brown. Frankie Sappin. Was that real? Did he not play last week? I'm dubious because of the naming conventions that go on with filters and stuff like that. Sappin and Sappin the Third. Oh boy. Yeah, he did play last week. Okay. That needs to be updated. I need to make that universal. Frankie Sappin the Third. Okay. So Frankie Sappin's not one of those guys. Throwing that out there, and that makes me, yeah. So Frankie Sappin, I need to remember that. Frankie Sappin. Hard to remember things while you're streaming because streamer brain is a thing. Frankie Sappin the Third. Oh my God, I hate that. I hate that so much. I wish, so I pull stats from so many different sites. I wish all the naming conventions were the same, but I also have safeguards in place that update the names. So one fell through the cracks. I'll have to get to that. Tyler Watts. It's another guy. So now we're getting into like creative players, guys that have played on tour before but haven't really played that often, and new golfers. So I know Tyler Watts is a name. He's an up-and-coming golfer. We also have Johnny Bird, Danny Willett, some other 6K golfers, but I'm not really married to any of these guys down here in the 6K range. Never fall in love with the 6K golfer and never disrespect one. Yeah. Another tool that we can look at just to take a look to see, and I'm going to have a new one out there at some point in time just to show you the breakdown of tournaments. But I want to take a look. Let's go last year's fall swing. We had Bermuda, and the week before was the Worldwide. Okay, so that's good. How about the 2023 fall? We had the Bermuda, and the week before was the Worldwide. So we had 2 years in a row at least. That's wonderful. 2023. Bermuda, and the week before was the CJ Cup, South Carolina. That one was more of a. That was a kind of. I mean, it was an invitational, so like good golfers played that course. Okay, so that makes sense. So now we're getting into tournaments that I think if they did play the week before the Bermuda, like tournaments that were before the Bermuda, they're probably elite events that these scrappy golfers that are playing the Bermuda did not play. Yeah, Zozo. That's still an invitational. It's a limited field. 78 golfers play in it. So, only the last 2 years, really. Okay. And then here, the Bermuda was the Zozo before. So one thing you could do is you can select the years in this little report filter and say, we only want to look at 2025, 2024, and 2023. Those are the only years we want to look at. And when we take a look at those years, we can see certain stats here. Because, I mean, technically, these were the only years where the Worldwide Technology Championship was the week before, like it was this year. And so we can see some common stats, which there aren't many when it comes to golfers who did not play last week. We do have some that did have a finishing place the year before, not with great course history. So, yeah, it's all over the place. But that's one way you can look at all this stuff. So I'm just trying to show you different ways to use the bucket system tool to your advantage. You get to play around with it. Look to see if you can find any commonalities that you can use to select golfers this week. And everything that you have on the bucket system page, you can find. Oh, here's another great tool. Let me show you this one. So if I deselect everything and we scroll all the way down, there's nothing else selected, right? Yeah, nothing else selected. This, like I said, there's 3 tools in one. This tool down here shows you how frequently, whatever count you choose to select, how many times they showed up every single year for each of these buckets. So for the optimal lineup, if we just select optimal lineup, you will see for the last year bucket in 2024, you'll see the count of how many golfers for each of those buckets was in the optimal lineup. And obviously you can only have 6 golfers. So when we're looking at the last year buckets, and actually I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to use the filter up here just to show you guys you can use this filter. And I just want to look at the last year buckets. So if I just select that, everything else disappears except for the last year buckets. At least for this little summary page up here. If I scroll down, this stays unaffected, which is exactly what I want it to do. If I scroll down to this one, now we only look at the last year buckets. And this is just an easier way to show you how this works. So for optimal lineups, we've got 6 golfers in 2024, 2023, 2022, and you can see the different counts. So is there a particular bucket that just shows up every single year? Yes, there is. Last year's 6s. Take a look at the last year's 6 bucket. You don't count 2025 because that's this year. We haven't played the 2025 Bermuda just yet. But last year you had 2 golfers from this bucket in the optimal lineup. The year before that you had 4. The year before that you had 3. The year before that you had 4. The year before that you had 3. And then there's no data for 2019. Primarily because you see all zeros. That's a good indication there's no data if it's all zeros. So you get to just check all the different counts. Okay, so optimal lineup doesn't really care for you. How about top 5s? You look at the top 5 buckets. See how it changes? Look at the last year 1 bucket. See, it's 2 in 2024. If I go to top 5 counts, it changes to 3. Now, if I select this, and I told you the filters don't go up, the only tool that gets affected by both or the other 2 tools is this one right here, the results with lead and bucket stats. So I am only looking at 2024 last year 1, and you can see right here 2024 last year 1. How were there 3 golfers in that bucket? Only 2 were in the optimal lineup. My first guess was price, and maybe that's the case. Maybe. I don't have a way just yet to show you what the optimal lineup was. I should have that. Yeah, I should have that with filters too. That's a thing I need to put on this page. Anyways, if you truly want to go look to see which the golfers were in the optimal lineup, you'd go to this page, Pass Optimal and GPP winners, and put in Bermuda. Take a look at the optimal lineup. Or what was it, 2024? Yeah, 2024. We can see which golfers were there. We can flip between the 2 tools. Hubbard, Whaley, Lauer, and Lipsky were in the top 10. So which one of those guys was in the optimal lineup? Go back to here. Lauer. What other ones? It was Lauer and who? Hubbard. Hubbard and Lauer. There they are. Mark Hubbard, Justin Lauer. Those were your golfers in the optimal lineup that were in the last year 1 bucket. So you can float through all the different tools. As always, there is an eraser button that will clear out everything. Except for the bottom one. Okay. Oh, wait. All right, we found a bug. Just deselect this, I guess. Okay. Huh. I didn't think there was one. Anyways, that's one way to look at the bucket system. Another way, you can go to the cheat sheet. I have the projections right here. The projections are basically telling you the minimum and the maximum. You know, just play X amount of golfers, whatever's within those bucket projections in your lineups. If you do not want to mess around with looking at anything, guess what the optimizer has? The optimizer has those bucket conditionals already built in. That's why I build the optimizer, so we don't have to go bucket by bucket and try to find the golfers that fit the best. But just to pay it off, you know me, I'm a big proponent of, you're going to talk about something, there should be a payoff behind it. We did choose the last week 6 bucket, right? We chose that one because obviously we see a lot of golfers there every single year that finish inside the top 10. And that includes last year and the year before, which were Worldwide Technology Championships. And if we take a look down here and we look at top 10 counts, we had 3 and 2. So at least 2. At least 2. If we go to the projections here for last week 6, it's only 0 to 2. It's actually 0 to 3. And that is primarily because the average per year is 100 golfers and we only have 33 in that bucket. But again, if we take a look at the last 2 years, we're going to find that we had golfers that did not play the week before. Like Andrew Novak and Mark Hubbard. $8,800 and $8,400 respectively. Alex Noren was another guy at $9,600. Adam Scott at $10,700. And of course, we could look at it this way. I'm sorry. I should have done this. And we can take a look at the golfers that were in these buckets. Again, I just want to look at top 10s. So we can look at the price tags this way as well. We don't have to go to the spreadsheet, but 88, 84, 78, 96, 10, 7, 10, 5, 72, 97, 73. So it's a lot of high price golfers. Very few 7Ks. So again, the cheat sheet, whatever cheat sheet you want to go to, does not matter. You can find all of it at the same place everywhere. Sam Stevens, $8,800. Alex Smalley, $8,700. They are last week 1s or last week 6s. They did not play last week. Sahith Theegala, he's another guy. You could select him. He did not play last week. And those are your top 3 dudes. So I don't know if we just figured out a way to really filter out the golfers that we should actually be playing, like Sam Stevens, Alex Smalley, or Theegala. I like Theegala. Got no issue playing Theegala. I also like Sam Stevens. I like him at long golf courses with long approach shots because his long irons are really good. Maybe he's worth it. The one thing that I would actually pair up with this is if I go to strokes gained stats and let's go ahead and put, I think I can, is it this way? I can't remember which. Okay, there we go. Sam Stevens. Yep. Select him and I can just go grass stats. Let's see what he does on Bermuda. Let's take a look at Bermuda. It's actually bad. Oh boy, it's a bad. Let's just look at the last year. Maybe it's better if we change the year. How about we change the month? Oh God, it gets worse. Oh God. Okay, Sam Stevens, not super great on Bermuda. How about Sahith? Not good. Who's the last guy that we were talking about? Alex Smalley. I bet you Alex Smalley is good because he's a Carolina boy, right? Is Alex Smalley just our guy now? Like, it just has to be? Okay, so at least it's positive. He's got 3 cuts, a 16th and a 29th. My goodness. So Smalley, Sahith. I'm going to put all 3 of these guys up there. And Sam Stevens. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Sahith has an 8th place finish at the Hero World Challenge. Okay, that doesn't even count. Oh, they're all bad. Hey, this is what you got to do. Okay. No matter what it comes down to, I've learned this over the years. Obviously, I'm sure most of you guys have learned the same thing. We can look at something, and by the way, the projection for this bucket is pretty bad, right? 0 to 3. I know it says 0 to 2 technically, but I made this a 0 to 3 bucket. A lot of it has to do with bucket totals. Like obviously last year, and by the way, if you want to look at bucket totals, here's a good way to do this too. We can go, if we just deselect top 10, now we get full on counts. Last year there was 41 total golfers in that bucket. The year before that was 52. Then it goes into 126, 120, 131, and then 43. So you can take a look at each of these years and which golfers are in those buckets. I'm going to go back to this cheat sheet. What other golfers can we look at? This was pretty terrible, right? Cam Champ. Okay, let's use him. Joseph Bramlett, and Dylan Wu. Let's check those guys out. Wu, Bramlett, Champ. Got it. So let's go ahead and put in Dylan Wu, Champ. And I already forgot the last one. Bramlett. Which one of these guys is the best? Okay. Joseph Bramlett. So if there's a reason to play Joseph Bramlett, maybe this is it.
Oh no.
Ah.
Sorry, my music just ended. Okay. Yeah. Huh. Well, this is going back 1 year. Maybe I can go back a year and a month. Does that change anything by how good these guys are? How about another month from that? Ooh, whoa. Look at Smalley. Look at Smalley's stats. It goes from 0.169 to 0.716. Why is that? He 5th place at the Sanderson Farms Championship. Not this year, but the year before. Okay, there we go. Bramlett, by the way, still a good choice. Bramlett and Smalley are our best strokes gained total guys on Bermuda. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Joanne, good luck. Good luck to you too. I don't know when you said that, but good luck to you as well. We're already an hour 22 into this, and I have not yet hit the roll call. So, I think I'm done with the bucket system, honestly. I'm giving you guys like different ways to go about and look at it. We just went into a payoff to what I was talking about. So let's do roll call. I'm just going to put Joanne in there just because. I went longer than I should have. That's kind of the only reason that I'm going to do that. Normally I wouldn't do this. But just because I went longer than I typically do on a roll call, we'll go ahead and do this. So Bermuda roll call 1 will be, just type in the number 1. Number 1. Just put in 1. Type in 1 and you will get an entry. Roll call. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and load in the Marquee Tee Times, get ahead of time, get ahead of everything. And then we're going to build some lineups. Basically, I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys. We can attack the lineup thing one of two ways. We can either build a bunch of lineups, but only like, you know, do cores of 2 or 3 guys and only build like 2 or 3 lineups and then go to another core and build 2 or 3 lineups. Or I can use one core and build like 10 lineups. It's up to you guys. Okay. We have AJ Love, Lombardi Lee, Tim Tulos. What's going on, Tim? Oh yeah, and Joanne. Put Joanne in there. Okay. So, let's go into the Marquee Tee Times. I'll go ahead and put the transition on. Okay. Marquee Tee Times for the Bermuda Championship. These are the top 9 groups in the field. The top 9, or I should say the golfers in the top 9 groups. They're all playing together. Jeez, how am I supposed to say that? That is not right. That are paired up together. The top 9 groups with the best golfers in each of those. No, that's not even how you say that either. It's just the best 9 pairings. There we go. The best 9 pairings for the Bermuda Championship. There we go. That's how we're supposed to say that. You have Nico Echeverria, Matt Kuchar, and Sami Välimäki. Next group is Patrick Rogers, Alex Smalley, Eric Cole. Look at that. Alex Smalley is in one of the Marquee Tee Times. I kind of like that. Oh, man. I like Alex Smalley a lot now. Who's looking good for the Butterbean? Everyone's username is just appearing. I believe... Oh, what is your YouTube handle? Or what is your YouTube name? Usually it's Swipe. Is it Swipe YT? Is that... I can't remember. Anyways, group 2 is Patrick Rogers, Alex Smalley, Eric Cole. Group 3 is Rico Hoey, Victor Perez, Danny the Daywalker. Group 4 is Hayden Springer, Max McGravy, Ryo Hisetsune. I imagine we're going to see him in lineups. Stephen Fisk, Seamus Power, Taylor Moore is in group 5. Group 6 is Matty Schmid, Chad Ramey, and Carson Young. I think they all finished top 10 last week, or top 20. The next group is Torbjorn Olesen, Kevin Roy, David Skins. Group after that is Michael Brennan, Sahith Thagala, and Rafael Campos. And then the last group in the Marquee Tee Times, Kevin Yu, Adam Svensson, Mathieu Pavon. So the purpose here is select 2 to 4 golfers, 2 to 4, or 2 to 4 groups, select wherever your golfers are. Select 2 to 4 groups and only select 1 golfer from those groups. Just one golfer. We do not want lineups that are pairing golfers up in each of these groups together. In the same group, I should say. So, just here's an example. So in case I said that confusingly to people, if you like Nico Echeverria at $9,700, do not pair him up with Matt Kuchar and Sami Välimäki. You certainly could. You could. But it's unlikely you're going to hit the optimal lineup. It's unlikely you're going to hit the sweet spot optimal. And it's unlikely you're going to hit the GPP winner. Can you win money? Yes, you can. You certainly can win money by selecting 2 golfers from the same group. You certainly can. I am not making that argument whatsoever that you can't. You certainly can. However, we're chasing the optimal. We're targeting the optimal. We're aiming small. We want to miss small. If we don't hit the optimal, maybe we hit the GPP instead. So pick 1 golfer. So just for the top 4 groups, if I like Nico at 97, I pair him up with Patrick Rogers. Actually, no, let's do Alex Smalley. And then maybe we go Victor Perez. And the last one, let's do the assassin, Ryo Hisetsune. There's 4 golfers. 4 groups, 4 golfers, and the golfers I selected are not paired up with anybody else in my lineup. They're not paired up in their groups with. So that's how you'd look at that. So with that being said, I went through the Marquee Tee Times. I went through everything, the Sweet Spot process. We're going to build some lineups. AJ already put his golfers in. That's great. Anybody else that wants lineups built, put your groups in, or put your core golfers in. 2 to 4 golfers. Select 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. We will build lineups around them. If you have a golfer that's not in the Marquee Tee Time that you want your lineup built around, just let me know. Just let me know. We can choose 2 of these guys from here and your favorite golfer elsewhere. Finished 2nd in the GPP in old FanDuel. Missed winning by 8 points. Damn, dude, that's awesome. Swipa YT. Okay. AJ is in already with his lineup of Hoey, Rogers, Olesen. Howie. Rogers. You're going like this? AJ, is that correct? You're going 10-4, 10-1, 9-5? Is that correct? Let me know if that's right. That's pretty spendy. I mean, I'll see what it does. It does build a lineup with Ryan Palmer in it, which, hey, by all means, if that's something you want to do, go for it. I'm not actually gonna hold that against you if that's what you want. Take off Rogers. So 2 10Ks. You're going risque. Okay. Here's a bit more balanced. 2 10s and 4 7s. It's not terrible. Rogers, Springer, Montgomery, and Taylor Moore. I'm keeping in my exposures. Really limiting the type of lineups you can build. So I don't hate this one. This is good. Hoey, Olesen, Kanaya, Ryder, Putnam, and Hisetsune. If I had the soundboard working, I'd definitely play the Hadouken. Hadouken. That one's a good one. I'm gonna build you 5 and then we'll move on. Third lineup is Rico, Olsen, Whaley, McGravy, Norlander, and the short hitting Paul Peterson. I don't hate it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Next lineup is Hoey, Olesen, Eric Cole, Chris Ventura, Lipsky, and Mateo Montecero. I like that lineup a lot. That one's a pretty good lineup. Next lineup after that. Hoey, Olesen, Valimaki, Fishburne, Shank, and Matthew Pavon. That's pretty good. 10, 10, 8, 2 7s, and a 6. I like that one. I love the sound effects with your voice. Hadouken! These were your lineups from last week. Can't really see them that well, but these were solid. I think these were your lineups from last week, right? Right, AJ? You had the winner. You said you were going to put all these lineups in one of the contests. I don't know if you did. You had the winner. You had Garrett Kiggo, and by the way, Michael Thorbjornsen, he scored well on DraftKings. And even this lineup, you had Higo to go with that. So what, okay, Kanaya played well. I think Whaley played well. Did Ben Coles not make the cut? I can't remember. I mean, this is probably the column that killed you, right? Whoa, we had a Jackson Suber. Oh, and then Jaeger. Oh, this was my lineup. This is the lineup that I had. This was my Drive the Green lineup. Mitchell was not good. Steven Jaeger missed the cut. Yeah, this was my Drive the Green lineup. I didn't cash. I did not cash with this lineup. Look at those 4 guys, though, from last week. Pretty damn good, dude. Pretty damn... Actually, what... So, it was Griffin, Echeverria, Schmidt, and Suber. Griffin? Now, let's go to a different view. I had Griffin, Schmidt, Suba, Echeverria. 4 dudes inside the top 14. Is that real? And I got screwed by Keith Mitchell and what's his face? Is that right? And I didn't cash? Oh. I didn't have Suber. I changed Suber. I wonder if that's because I was a chicken shit. It was probably because I was a chicken shit. I changed that to Norgard Molar. So this guy missed the cut. And then this was Norgard Molar. I don't know why I changed it. So I had 3 dudes. Damn. Damn. Yeah, we were close though. We were close. Swipe is still in the chat. Swipe, did you watch any content last week? Who was your core in FanDuel? Okay. Those are 5 lineups for AJ. You did. Who are your guys? Tim Tulos has Echeverria, Schmidt, and Small. Ooh, you playing with my heart, Tim? Is that what's going on? Echeverria. Schmid and Smalley. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That, yeah. You're tugging on my heartstrings here. Echeverria, Schmid, Smalley, Lee Hodges. I hate this lineup. I hate the Taylors. I don't want anything to do with them. We save them, we kick them out. That's our way to. They're not going to show up again. Perez, Fishburne, Paul Pearson. Don't care for that one either. I mean, the optimizer might know something that I don't. This is what I'm looking for right here. Echeverria, Schmid, Smalley, Fisk, Phillips. The mustache man, Chandler Phillips. How about this? I am interested. I'm going to put the grass stats on. I am very interested. Just Bermuda greens. I don't need anything else. Just going to do Bermuda greens. We're going to look at the last year from 9-5 to this year. And I guess I'm just going to put in the name. Who were we just talking about? Chandler, the mustache man, Phillips. Okay. Chandler, you any good? Break even. He has an 11th at the RSM Classic, so fall golf on Bermuda is not terrible. Yeah, okay. I can do Chandler. That's fine. That's great. Chandler Phillips. How about Putnam? Putnam's been a name that everybody's been talking about. He had a hole-in-one last week. Andrew Putnam. Pretty darn good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Strokes gained total's good. These results are not. 11th at the Cognizant. That's a pretty tough golf course. I don't like that, guys. He's been on tour for a while, so maybe just this last year was terrible. What does it look like if I push it back? It gets better. In fact, if I go, you can kind of cherry pick these stats a little bit. Yeah, so 2024 to the 2025 season for Putnam, not great. We go further back, 0.823. That is pretty good. An 8th place finish at the API. I will note these are difficult Bermuda tracks. That could be a thing. He plays well on tough Bermuda golf courses. This is not tough. But we go even further back. His strokes gain total is getting really good. It's getting really good. Look at that. Like no cuts except for the 2024 Wyndham. And like I said, the 2025, so something must have happened. We jumped from the API, which is like a February tournament, to Wyndham, which is an August tournament. Or September. It's a September tournament. End of August, early September. I don't remember. from this moment forward, he played really bad golf on Bermuda. So what Putnam do we have right now? Do we have a good Putnam or do we have a bad Putnam? Swipa, was that your lineup from last week? Yeah, it must have been. You had Pearson, Cootie, Sig, Cole, and Kuchar. Which one do you think hurt you the most? Which golfer do you think hurt you the most? Okay, well, that was fun. This is a great lineup. It's a really good lineup. I like it a lot. I'm actually going to highlight that one. Okay. Ooh, Will Chandelier. I haven't seen Will Chandelier, and then there's Rosner, and oh, 3 9s and 8. It's probably not a very good lineup, but let's see what Will Chandelier is all about. It's Will Chandler, by the way. I know. He's awful, just in general, but let's try to just go on Bermuda. What does Bermuda look like? Still pretty awful. One tournament looks like it's hurting him the most. He did gain on 5 strokes total, but that's not that great. Okay, Will Chandelier. Okay, let's not save this lineup then. It was close. This is a bit more like it. Okay, this is a good one. Let's see what Jeremy spoken. Jeremy Paul. Not great. I mean, something's got to give, right? One of these, everyone starts somewhere. People get better over time. Some people get worse. Maybe Jeremy will get better. I don't know. Rosner. Okay, here's the lineup. This is a good lineup. Roy and Rosner. I do want to see what Rosner's all about. Since we just saw him a couple times. Terrible. Terrible. Man, I don't know. Kevin Roy. Roy and Suber. Those are the guys I want to look at. Roy. Break even. That's fine. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Suba. Not great. Not great on Bermuda, guys. Jackson Suber. 6,300 here. I mean, he is a Georgia boy. No, he's a Mississippi boy, right? Isn't that Mr. Suba? Suba. Birthplace is Tampa. Went to Mississippi like I thought, but he plays from Tampa, so he should be good. Suber. Should be good on Bermuda. Why is he not? I mean, do we have some really bad outliers? Myrtle Beach was terrible. -3. US Open. Okay. I can excuse that. Okay, so he's got potential. He has a 6th place finish, which is absolutely fine. Positive strokes. Just, oh my god, it is bad. If I remove the grass filter, actually, let's do everything but Bermuda. 0.2. Okay, it was -0.2 and now it's -0.7. So he's better on everything else but Bermuda. I think he's a bent grass guy, right? 0.5. Wow. On bent grass greens, Jackson Suber is real good. 38 total rounds, by the way. That's also something to take into account. Versus 20. So he has almost double the amount of bent grass rounds. I am looking behind the little smoke screen here. Paspalum, he's good on Paspalum, which is it's a similar. We can use it as a similar. I mean, 11th last week. That's fine. Anyways, sure. Really deep diving these lineups, huh? How about this? We don't want Rosner. Let's see if Jackson is on the next one. He's not. Braden Thornberry, nah. Nah, I'm not playing that overweight guy. Trey Mullinax, sure. I think I'm just going to go with this one. We'll save this one. We'll build one more. I think this one's fine. Mullinax has a victory, I believe, on Bermuda. Pretty sure he does. And there's a Jackson Suber lineup with Celinda and Ryder. So I actually want to look at Mullinax first. Does he have a win? Yeah. Barbasol. Is this the new one? What? Oh, that's not Bermuda. Second was Valero, Texas. Oh, that's right. He had that flubbed chip. That's what screwed him. But he is positive strokes gained total on Bermuda. I don't know. What does the last year look like? Not great. Not great, but who knows? Maybe that's just because he's going through some swing changes. You never know. The other golfer we were just looking at, right? Celinda and Ryder. I feel like, actually, no, I think Ryder's either really good on POA or he's good on Bermuda. So positive strokes gained total, which is great. That's overall total, but let's look at 2024 to 2025. Still positive. That's great. Bermuda. Oh, yeah. Sam Ryder. Look at this. He gets better. 0.735. And listen, Isaiah Celinda. Not great. Not great at all. There is a withdraw in there. So we can hold down control and left click the tournaments that we want. And that will change the strokes gained total up here. So I'm not choosing that withdraw, which he lost a lot of strokes gained total, but he is bad on Bermuda. Is he just good on everything? Maybe he's just not good at all. He's better on everything else, like anything else than Bermuda. Bermuda pulls him down. Bent grass, he's break even. Not fescue. POA, he's positive on POA. Paspalum? He's even way more positive on Paspalum. Wow. 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 Okay. Yeah, so Bermuda's not great for him. So listen, Isaiah Celinda, not the golfer we want. This one's kicking out Suber, but I think we kick out Celinda. We bring back Suber. Okay, no Celinda, but Ryder is Ryder looks great. Kevin Roy and Norgard Muller. That's okay. This is the last one I'm going to look up for you, but I do want to know what Norgard Muller's all about. He fits the apex and distance route. Don't think do we have grass stats on? No, we don't. So he's break even. Oh, he is so much better on Bermuda. So he's normally break even on Bermuda. For the last year, 0.752. That's pretty good. If I go back, it doesn't matter how far back I go. Stats stay the same. The 5th place, the 25th, and a couple missed cuts. The missed cuts weren't terrible. This last Sanderson Farms was not good. And green and reg was awful. Driving accuracy was awful. So maybe the driver was just a little crooked, but I like it. And we already figured out Kevin Roy was all right. Yeah, this one's a good lineup. Okay, cool. Actually, hold on. I want to try something. I'm gonna see if we break it. I'm gonna put Norgard Moeller in there, and I'm gonna put Ryder in there, and we'll see. Will it choose someone else, or will I break it? We don't break it. We don't break it. We get Jackson Suber. All right, that's the. If I had the soundboard working, that's the do 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 do. Take my breath away. You're welcome, AJ. That's for you, man. I'm not a singer, and that's about as brave as I'm going to get when it comes to singing. I didn't try that hard, but that's about as brave. Sig or Cootie just because they were the lowest points. Yeah, I would have chosen I would have chosen Pearson Cootie. Sig maybe not. Actually, Pearson was my guy 2 weeks ago or 2 tournaments ago at the Black Desert well, the Bank of Utah. Can I look at Quade Cummins for you? Yes, I can. Quade is negative. Is this with Bermuda? It is with Bermuda. Get out of here. Oh boy. What was that all about? It's like I wonder if it was like a keyboard thing. Tim, you are welcome. That was fun. Quade. What Schwarzenegger movie was he called Quade? Was it Total Recall? Quade. Negative 0.179. Okay, let's move that to 2024. Let's go September. Break even. Quade Cummins. Break even. Put some grass stat filters on there. Bermuda. He goes worse. But if we take out the year filters, it doesn't get much better. Yeah, Quade's not super good on the old Bermudas. Where's he from? Where's our boy Quade from? Seems like it's a southern name. I don't want schedule. I want University of Oklahoma, from Oklahoma. .6'3". This is like, these are my stats right here. I'm 220. I'm not 230. Oh, he's even got his name on his. It's got to be his parents. It's got to be his dad's group. It says Cummins Auto Group. So he's representing the family. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, look at the little. He's a putter. Does that go along with our stats of Quade Cummins? Strokes gain. I don't know where his stats are being pulled from. Maybe it's just this season. Should I go from? Use the picker. Use the picker. January 1st, 2025. Still don't have him as a good putter. Oh, do I have grass stats on? I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Yeah, he's, yep. Putting is the stat I have as the best. Best stat for him. Putting. But not on Bermuda. So I don't know, man. I don't think I'm touching Quade Cummins. You know the best 10 golfers on Bermuda out of these golfers? What do you mean out of these golfers? Like the field or the guys that we were just talking about? And I'm just using the Bermuda greens. Out of Bermuda greens, we're looking from just this year, 1/1/2025. We have Victor Perez as our top guy, followed by Steven Fisk. Fisk has a win. Mark Hubbard, Sam Ryder, Joe Bramlett, Hayden Buckley, Matti Schmid, Echeverria, Torbjorn Olesen, Fishburne. If we look at the best putters, Taylor Montgomery does not surprise me. The guy sucks at golf. Matthew Neesmith. Wow, I didn't even know he was in the field. There's our boy Echeverria. Matti Schmid. I mean, those are going to probably be my just... I might lock those guys in and just not look back. And Sam Ryder's up there too. Those are like going to be my three. If I had a cash game cornerstone, those would be my three dudes. Schmid, Echeverria, and Ryder. Is there one more that I like? Another guy we were kind of looking at. Norgard Moeller. Yeah. Yep. Those are my four. Did anyone else put any golfers in for lineups? Lombardi does. Okay, Lombardi did. He put something in there. Let me take a look. Lombardi goes. By the way, I forgot to pin your lineups, Tim. Echeverria, Schmidt, Smalley. For those that were wondering what I was just doing. But now we have this one. So Lombardi, I don't. Okay, so Sammy Valimaki, that's what Sam Val means. Okay. Sammy Valimaki, Ryder, and Hubbard. Hey, dude, that's pretty good. Those were good golfers on the Bermudas. Ryder 75, right? All right, Lombardi, Schmid, Brennan, Hubbard, Valimaki, Ryder, and the Assassin, Rio Hisetsune Hadouken. Olesen, Hubbard, Valimaki, Perez, so 3 AKs, Ryder, and Hodges. Sure, I don't really care for Lee Hodges. Actually, you know what? We'll do a deep dive on Hodges. Ramey, Hubbard, Valimaki, Kanaya, Fisk, and Sam Ryder. I love this lineup. This is a great lineup. Kanaya, and who was that last one we were just talking about? Lee Hodges. Okay, so let's do a deep dive on Kanaya and Lee Hodges. Takumi. Oh boy. Those are great Bermuda stats. Yeah, he's like just barely missing the cut. He has one good finish that has decent strokes gained total. So it's 7,900. That seems pretty good, honestly. And I'm actually going to go back just a little bit further. Let's go like to here. That doesn't change anything. Go to there. Okay, not Takumi. Let's do Lee Hodges. Hodges, great. Holy crap. Lee Hodges. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm sold. That's a good lineup. That's a really good lineup. That last, well, I mean, both of these lineups, I guess, are good, right? We have Kanaya in this one. We have Lee Hodges. Right. Victor Perez was the best, right? This lineup is solid. Okay, I gotta color this one too. It's a really good lineup. Really good lineup. Okay. Sam Stevens, Hubbard, Valimaki, Seamus Power. I don't hate Seamus Power. Ryder and Chris Ventura. Wow. Oh, our thing broke. Okay, that's why. So it won't do Rico Hoey for whatever reason. I'm gonna put Rico in here. Does that break? Yeah, you must have, did you just put last year ones again? Or last week ones? Valimaki's last week one. No, you have last week fives. What do I have for last week fives? Just two? Okay. So we can't do Kevin Yu because that's what the bucket system says. We can't do Echeverria because he's in the same group as Sami Valimaki. So Thorbjorn really is the only guy. And Rico, we can't do Rico for some reason. Last year sixes, maybe? No, I don't think so. Why can't we do... Oh, recent form twos, maybe? Or you pick some good recent form guys? No. The heck? I don't know why I can't do Rico. I need to make this look better. Okay, so what do we see here? We already have, okay, last week's don't matter. Last year, oh, there it is. It's the last year buckets. So, okay, yeah, that's why. So we can't play any of those top end guys because of their last year one bucket. All right, I'm gonna change that. Just to, because we can break the mold. I don't even know last year ones. What is the projection for that? Is it close? No, it's 0 to 2. It's not close at all. Interesting. Okay. Let's just break it just for this one lineup. See what it does. Nope, still doesn't like. Wait, there we go. Hoey, Hubbard, Clanton, love that. Yeah, this is a great lineup. Okay, so we broke it for just the time being. I think I can do this and I'll go Thorbjorn now. I'll build another Thorbjorn lineup. Hubbard, Valimaki, Thigala. There, yeah. Okay, cool. There we go. We bypassed the issue. That works out just fine. All right, guys. Those were some lineups. I'm gonna go live tomorrow night. Members only for white tier members and above. If you want to know how to become a white tier member, just hit the little $ down here that says join, or if you go to the SweetSpotDFS homepage on YouTube, you can find the join button there. Become a white tier member and you'll be able to watch tomorrow night. I'll even deep dive more. I'll build my lineup so you can see what I'm going to do tomorrow. I won't show you where I'm going to put those lineups, but I'll show you what I'm doing for myself. I mean, Ryder seems like a lock. Like Echeverria, maybe a mixture of Echeverria, Rogers, Echeverria, Schmid. Definitely want those guys. Alex Smalley seems like a dude that I really want. You cannot put Smalley and Rogers together, so that's interesting. They're in the same Marquee Tee Time. Yeah. And by the way, Echeverria is with Kuchar and Sami Valimaki. So if you want to be contrarian with Echeverria, either of those two guys is just fine. Kuchar or Valimaki. But yeah. I think that's going to be it, man. Oh, wait, whoa. Swipa says Kuchar or Cootie this week, or Olesen. I don't mind any of them. I mean, probably not Cootie. I know he's a Texas boy, but I have a feeling he's not that great on Bermuda. Let me double check. I didn't see your chat, Swipa. Cootie. So minus 0.115. I go into grass stats, just take that off. Yeah, he becomes a positive strokes gained golfer. He's positive 0.53 if I take the filters off. If I do everything but Bermuda, well, 0.53. Why does that not change? He's just that much better on oh my god. Bendgrass is 0.832? 0.141 on on POA, 0.632. Okay. I was very curious. Take off Bermuda and it's the same stats. Oh, you want to know why? I know why. I know why. Because these are all mixes. I bet it's Bentgrass with POA and then it's just Paspalum on its own. And Paspalum's 0.632, so it probably just equals out perfectly. Okay. So, probably not Goody this week. If you need to reach me anywhere else, you can do it through email. The email was going across here not too long ago, SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. On X, SweetSpotDFS everywhere, basically. So all one word, SweetSpotDFS, not two words, not three words, all one word. But that's going to be it for me. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.